major chord his love, and she got it right. What she played it on came from the light.
Welcome to Grandma's Journals. This channel began with a collection of handwritten journals, pages filled with everyday moments, quiet faith, family stories, and a kind of wisdom that only comes from a life well lived. These journals belong to my Grandma Peggy. Inside them are her thoughts, her prayers, her joys, and her struggles. Moments that may have felt ordinary at the time, but now feel priceless. My hope is that as you listen, you'll feel connected to her story and maybe even your own. Thanks for being here. This is Grandma's Journal.
The beauty of the song is joy in her eyes. The major chord is love, and she got it right.
Hello. Oh my gosh, I know it's been like a month or longer since I have been on here. Our last week of summer was just crazy and fun and busy. So, life happens, right? It's all good. But we are finally back in school. Summer is over, which is sad and happy all at the same time. I love having my girl home, but I also love having a schedule. So we are back to what is our new normal schedule, which includes super early morning seminary because my girl's in high school, which is crazy, but means that I can get a lot more done in a day. So I made it a priority to make sure that I sat down and recorded an episode for today. Now, sorry to disappoint, but we will not be in the journal today. I have definitely got a little behind on the journal, but we will be back in it soon, I promise. But today, I have stories to share about my sweet Grandma Peggy. So at her funeral, my cousin Justin had asked people to submit stories or memories or things about Grandma to be shared. Now, he was able to share lots of these and maybe probably even most of them, but trying to share everything just wasn't possible. So I asked him and Christina if they wouldn't mind sending or forwarding all of the messages that they had received over to me to share on the podcast so that everybody could hear them. So that is what I'm going to do today. I've printed out all of the emails and text messages and things that Justin and Christina got, and I am going to read those to you today. So like I said, many of these were shared at the funeral while Justin gave the life story, but some of them, there just wasn't time to share them all. So that is what I'm going to read to you today, and that will be our episode for today or for this week. And then I really am going to try my best to get back on regular schedule for the journals because I have missed being in them, and I know some of you have reached out to me of how much you have missed hearing them. So I'm going to do my best. Excuse me, but before we get started, I am just going to ask for prayers for Uncle Joe. Unfortunately, his cancer has returned, and so he is back doing treatments and stuff. I don't know exactly what all he's doing right now, but definitely feel free to reach out to him if you want to, but especially keep him in your prayers, him and his family. They can definitely use them. And then also Uncle Jim, I have not got an update on him in a few days, but I know that he did have to go to the hospital. I'm not 100% sure if he's still in the hospital or not, but regardless, keep him in your prayers as well. So just a few prayer requests there. And we will jump into these emails and messages that we have. So the first one that I'm going to read, so this is from my Aunt Jeanette, so Peggy's oldest daughter, and this was what she had sent over to Justin to use. Oh my gosh, I barely started talking and my throat was already like drying up on me. I do have my water though, so we'll be okay. these were like the details for the life story. So I'm going to read this one first, which again, most of us probably know these things, but it'll be fun to read through them. And then we'll read the additional memories and stories and messages from others who submitted them. So, so Peggy Brooke Faraday Hunt, born December 12th, which that's not right. Born December 10th, 1934. To Paul John Faraday and Mary Elizabeth Moore in Phoenix, Arizona. She was second in line to 8 siblings. She had 2 sisters, Emily Thompson and Judy Faraday, and she had 5 brothers, James Faraday, John Faraday, Alan Latimer, Robert Latimer, and Joseph Wade Faraday. They lived in Alzona Park in Phoenix. Her dad was an HVAC repairman. Her mother worked at her parents' dry cleaning business. Mom got a taste of working there as well and hanging out. They moved several times when she was young. They lived in Ajo for a year and then moved to Globe, where she was in the 2nd grade. When she was young, her father left the family, leaving her mom to care and support 4 children. Mom's oldest sister, Emily, was a big help to their mom. Mom would go quite often to California for the summer, staying with, I said mom, talking about my Grandma Peggy's mom, and then it said mom, talking about Grandma Peggy. So Peggy would go quite often to California for the summer, staying with her grandparents, Luther Lee Moore and Ethel Claire England Moore. Her Aunt Freddie Moore was Mom's same age. Sometimes Mom would stay and go to school with Freddie. Mom always enjoyed staying at her grandparents in California. They loved to travel and always took Mom with them. So again, this is my Aunt Jeanette talking, which is Peggy's grandma. So that's when she's saying Mom, she's talking about my Grandma Peggy. One year while she was home with her mom and siblings, their home caught fire and burnt to the ground. Everyone got out, so her mom and all the kids went to some friends and stayed in their basement until they could get on their feet. Mom was very shy but very cute. She said all of Aunt Emily's guy friends thought so too. Emily didn't like that so much, but Mom thought boys were dumb. She said they acted so stupid and used bad language. Mom said even though her dad wasn't around much, when he was, he taught them to have good manners and be respectful. She said they always had a blessing on the food and taught her how to pray to God. She said for some reason the Spirit was always with her because she always seemed to know the right thing to do. When she was about 16, her best friend Harriet asked her to go on a double date with her boyfriend and his cousin who had come into town. She said, okay, but that they had to come meet her dad first. This guy was about 21 years old. My grandpa told the guy he better treat her right and bring her back at a decent time or there would be hell to pay. Grandma said he was a perfect gentleman. His name was Dewey Martin. He became a movie star. She loved watching her westerns and he played in a few of them. She said he couldn't act worth a darn. When my mom was 11 in the 6th grade, she met my dad. So this is Grandma Peggy meeting Grandpa Ellick. He was 12 at the junior high next door. So my dad and his friend, Rule McCoy, Uncle Mac, decided to go to the elementary school and check out the cute new girl in town. Mom said she really liked him because he was so sweet and kind and very respectful of her. Didn't use any foul language like the other guys. Mom and Dad had a lot of the same friends that they hung out with. They would go roller skating, motorcycle riding, and the movies and hanging at the malt shop. Mom and Dad married May 9th, 1953 in Lordsburg, New Mexico. Jeanette was born October 28th, 1953 in Phoenix. Next was Lori. She was born December 24th in 1954 in Phoenix. And Mom was so determined to find a church for us all to go to. Most of the churches said they didn't take kids, so we ended up going to the Baptist church for a while, but Mom wasn't too happy with it. My mom was telling my dad's mom, Blanche Woosley, what she wanted to do, and my grandma said, well, why don't you go to your husband's church? My mom said, I didn't know he had a church. So she told her about the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. My mom said she never heard of Mormons. Later, my mom found out that she had gone to school with quite a few Mormons and didn't even know it. So my grandma Blanche called the bishop and arranged for them to go to church the next Sunday. Mom said the bishop was waiting for them and called them by name. My mom was so impressed because they were so friendly. She said she was exactly where she should be. Members of the ward showed them where to go and took my sister and I to primary, to a place for children. She loved that. She then had the sister missionaries come and teach her. She told them she was ready to be baptized now, and the sisters said, we would like to give you a few lessons first. A few weeks later, she was baptized. Not long after, my brother Stephen was born, August 11th, 1957. By this time, we had bought a home on Latham Street. In 1960, we moved to Coolidge, Arizona. This is where my parents became very active in the church. The bishop of the ward took them under his wing and really helped them embrace the gospel. In 1962, we moved to Lehi next to my dad's dad. This is where my mom began to serve in many callings in the 60 years they were there. Mom has served as Relief Society president on and off for many years. She also served in Young Women's as a teacher, camp cabin mom, camp nurse, and camp cook. She taught in the youth Sunday school in many capacities. She loved her Sunday kiddos. She also had taught seminary for a few years. Her and Alex served several local missions. They served on the Pima Reservation. They served at the Humanitarian for the church. They also served in the Mesa, Arizona temple on and off for a few years. Mom had a beautiful testimony of the gospel of Jesus Christ. She was a great example to all that knew and loved her. Mom was an avid artist. She was very multi-talented. She went to school and got her associate's degree in interior design. She went on to decorate homes and businesses. One passion she had was sewing. She used to sew for her children and grandchildren. She made my dad some beautiful shirts, but she was known for her wedding dresses, bridesmaids' dresses, and prom dresses. I think every girl in Lehi had a wedding dress made by my mom as a wedding gift. She was so talented at it that she was offered a job at the Pixie Bridal Shop in Mesa. Not only did she sew, but she did catering, cake decorating, and wedding planning. She worked for Hazel Motes, who owned the place, and they became very good friends. On a side note, while my mom was working at the bridal shop, she got to meet and talk to Fetus. Can't remember his real name, from Gunsmoke. Turns out he was friends with the Motes. My mom also made many quilts. She got to make a few for some of her great-great-grandkids. She also made lampshades. Her biggest passion was drawing, coloring, and painting. She painted almost right up to the end. She liked to keep her hands busy, didn't sit still for too long. She was also an avid reader. She also loved to cook. Her spaghetti and tacos were my favorite. To relax, she enjoyed getting out and taking long rides on our horses. She also loved to tap dance and jazz dance. She loved playing hoops and baseball with the grandsons. She also enjoyed teaching the granddaughters sewing, cooking, and crafts. Mom was such a beautiful lady. Whenever we are anywhere together, everyone thought she was our sister, and of course, she loved that. Mom was pretty healthy for 91. She still got up every morning and made her bed, cleaned her room and bathroom, did her laundry, took her own showers, made her own meals, and washed her dishes. She would walk every day up and down their long driveway. She loved getting the mail. She was truly loved, and we will miss her. So that was just a little life story overview from my Aunt Jeanette. Okay, so these memories and stuff that I have, they are just from random people, whether they be kids or grandkids or friends or neighbors or whatever. So I think I have who each of them are from. So, and a few of them had pictures with them. So I will be sure to show you guys the pictures. So, all right. So this first one is from my Aunt Judy, who is my grandma's youngest sister. So this is Judy Faraday or Rochelle. I only know her as Judy. Okay, so, I mean, first she started with saying that she really doesn't want to be writing this, which we all understand because, you know, we just wanted my Gma Peggy to live forever. But, you know, that's a little selfish of us, of course. So we do understand. She said, my most cherished memories of my sister are really just blips, not full-on stories. What can I say? My childhood summers, I couldn't wait to go stay with Peggy. It felt like a home filled with love, and I was included. Did we do exciting big trips? Nope. What we did do was the best thing ever for me. We did life. I remember staying at the bridal shop with her while she worked. She would give me the old wooden spools to play with. I would be in awe as she hand-sewn pearls on dresses and thought how pretty they looked. I looked forward to family nights where we would all do something together, and it was about us being a family. We must have went roller skating a lot because that is what I remember most of the activities being. The other thing I would look forward to was doing activities at the church. I remember there being some mother-daughter activities that we attended. Some of the kids would say, "She's not your mom. Why are you here?" I would smile and say, "No, she's better. She's my big sister, and I'm very lucky." They never said anything else to me like that again. And you know what? That is exactly how I felt. Like the luckiest person to be there during the summers because of my sister. I'm sure Judy could not have asked for a better big sister. I mean, she had 2 big sisters, but Grandma was a great one. All right. Oh no. That one got cut off. Okay. Let me... Sorry, these ones... Okay, I'm going to have to come... I'll have to pull that one back up because my printer did not print it correctly, but I do want to read it. Okay, this one is from Emily Thompson, Aunt Emily, which is my Grandma Peggy's older sister. So she said, "Just a few things I remembered from our childhood. Peggy was my cute little sister, so of course it was my job to torture her. I loved to scare her. One time I made mud pies and told her they were candy. She ate one. I really think she liked it. In the 1st grade, we lived in Ajo, Arizona. She walked home at recess thinking it was over for the day. We moved to Kansas City in 1941. She was in the 2nd grade. There we learned how to roller skate. We lived on a hill and we always skated down the hill, and most of the time we fell before we got to the bottom. I think there's missing some words here. Lots of knees, probably lots of skinned up knees is what she was trying to say. They would fall before they would get to the bottom, and they'd probably have lots of skinned up knees. This is where we also learned to ride a bicycle. We moved back to Phoenix in 1942 or 43. We lived on 3rd Street off Van Buren. The house we lived in burnt down and nothing was saved except our tap shoes. We loved our tap shoes. Peggy and I took tap and acrobat. Peggy was really good at acrobats, but not good at tap. I was good at tap, but no good at acrobats. We moved into a nice red brick home in South Phoenix where we had orange trees and raised rabbits. We also had a dog named Nappy, a red child who belonged to my grandmother. The house we lived in was infested with scorpions in the basement, which we were not allowed to go into all the time we lived there. Only one person got stung, and that was baby Paul. We moved to Globe as our father went to work for the government to work on the atomic bomb project. He wasn't allowed to come home for 6 months, so we moved to Globe to be close to our aunt and uncle. We spent our summers in Long Beach with my grandmother and her family. Peggy stayed there a lot longer than I did. She also went to school there, as her and her Aunt Freddie were very close, only a year apart in age. Sorry, there's no punctuation in this, so I'm trying to figure out like when to stop. Where did I stop? After our daddy came home, we moved to West Phoenix. We went to J.B. Sutton School. Peggy was very athletic and did a lot of track events. We both had our own roller skate shoes at that time. Rinks were very popular places to hang out. She was very good at it. She would race the boys and most of the time she would win. She also had a friend named Harriet who owned a horse. They rode double on that horse all the time. One year, they rode it from 35th Ave downtown to the Phoenix Rodeo Parade, or in the Phoenix Rodeo Parade. I remember she wore shorts and her legs were beet red. I know this is just a small part of her life, but just a few things that I remember of her younger life. I will miss her so much. She was the best part of me. I bet it would mean a lot to Grandma to hear her big sister say she was the best part of me. I think she was the best part of a lot of us. All right. Next up is... I should have checked these before I started reading, make sure they all printed correctly. All right, so this one is from Clint, my cousin Clint, who is Grandma and Grandpa's oldest grandchild. He said, Grandma's hot sauce never could duplicate the taste of when she made it. Spent lots of times in the kitchen with her, learned about soaking apples in sugar water, using liquid smoke, making goulash, among many other things, I'm sure. She was always good for a piece of double mint gum, the green pack. Going down to Douglas or Agua Prieta and bringing home homemade tortillas. Grandma always had a stick of butter with her so we can enjoy these tortillas on the way home. I remember the Christmas trees that she decorated with soap, I believe, to get the snow effect and the smell it created. I remember when they painted the post office down in Elfrida. Grandma would take me down there to help and to check on Grandpa and Uncle Steve. The basement or cellar at the ranch house. Grandma would take me down there knowing that I would look for her old witch Halloween decoration, which I was somewhat afraid of, so the story goes. Grandma also had a friend in Elfrida, a man who liked to dress in women's clothes and jewelry and came to Grandma for advice and maybe to borrow some stuff. My first exposure to anything like that. Grandma also introduced us to Bart. All right, and this next one is from a neighbor from Lance Pugh. And it says, I was looking for some letters from Peggy that Peggy and I exchanged several years ago, and I haven't been able to find them. I was living here in Virginia. It was characteristic of her kindness. Every time I wrote her a page or two, she would respond with 3 or 4 pages. Almost 30 years after she was my Sunday school teacher, she continued to be there for me at every turn. It was always heartwarming to return home and walk down the street and say hello. For me, the funniest time was after a deployment several years ago. I came home and took a lot of time off and grew a beard and long hair, and I was looking a little scruffy. I went and knocked on the door, and she answered and didn't recognize me. She was kind, but I worried her quite a bit when I gave her a big hug. I had to quickly tell her it was me. But looking back through time, there were so many times she was there with a smile and words of wisdom to help Lee and I with whatever issue we were struggling with at the time. We often wandered down to Alec and Peggy's and would hear stories of living by the dam, their many years together and catching up on life. You remember the time I had a little scuffle with my dad, and the first place I went afterwards was to Grandpa and Grandma's house to talk about it and be reminded that I did want to serve a mission and left a couple weeks later? I don't have a specific story or conversation that stands out, but most importantly, the constant love, kindness, sincerity, and compassion that were her hallmark. I am forever grateful for her example in my life. All right. This next one is from my cousin Tyler Fricky, who is one of Grandma's grandsons. He is Lori's youngest. I remember going to Grandma and Grandpa's dam house every summer for a week. You guys used to fill the horse trough and we would run around and turn it into a whirlpool. I think we all have memories of doing that, and I have a trough pool at my house right now, and when all the kids were in it this summer, they did the same thing, and it just made my heart happy. All right, Grandma always had some fun activity to do, especially drawing. Grandma would look like Picasso drew it, and mine, well, it looked like my 6-year-old self drew it. I definitely didn't get that from her, but I'll always have the memories of doing it with her. I also remember how much Grandpa cherished you, and he would make you blush. I sure miss and love both of you guys, and I'm glad that he's making you blush right now. I'm sure he was. So sweet. All right, this one is from my grandma's Aunt Freddie. So this is her aunt who was just 1 year older than her. So they were like best friends because they were so close in age. And so this is from Aunt Freddie. Said, Peggy and Emily used to spend time in Long Beach with us. Peggy went to 1 semester in junior high school with me. We were walking to school one day and she said, oh no, I still have on my house shoes. I said, it's too late to go back. I don't want to be late. She went back by herself. When she got there, the house was locked. No one home. So she climbed in a window. When she came out the window, the police were there. She was scared to death. Our neighbor came out and said, yes, she's visiting from Arizona. She walked back to school and had to explain why she was late. I love her so much. Oh, Grandma. All right. This one is from my Aunt Lori, which is Grandma's second daughter. She said, Mom, I am so blessed to strive to do my best to take care of you. It's not always easy, but I have no room to complain. You have so much patience with me and everyone around you. You taught me to be kind no matter the circumstance. You taught me how to work with other people because we all work differently. You taught me so many things in life, but most important of all, you taught me about our Savior, Jesus Christ, and the love he had for all of us. We had so many friends who loved to come and hang out because of the love you had for all of them, just like the Savior had for all of us. There wasn't nothing you couldn't fix. The toaster, the iron, my hair, my dress, you could put anything together. You put my hair together just like the girls on the rainbow bread made by Wonder Bread. There was a contest. You fixed my hair to look just like hers. Because of your talents, I won the contest. You made all my Barbie and Midge doll clothes. You put my dolls in a glass case to protect them and wrote the sweetest letters about them. There wasn't nothing you couldn't do. As you got older, you continued to do your best. Even though your memory failed you, you continued at 91 to paint silly little pictures, write in your journal, give family home evening lessons, bless the food, do your own laundry, change the sheets on your bed. You made your bed every day. You exercised every day. You even went so far as fixing us dinner. In the end, your memory was declining. I could see that everything was a challenge to you, and you couldn't remember a whole lot. I noticed one thing in the end. You didn't forget how to be my mother. And that was from Aunt Lori. So sweet. All right. This one is from Tacey. Tacey Hargrave Cook. So she is Justin and Christina's oldest, so one of Grandma's great granddaughters. So she said, we played jacks, bendaroos that ended up staying on her wall for 10 plus years. She would measure us on her wall, and then we'd eat chocolate chips. We ate chocolate chips just about every time we go, and they were always given in washed out applesauce cups or something of the same size. She'd make us the honey lemon stuff that was for colds, but we drank it for fun. Or that marble game outside, and when we tried straight vanilla extract, and when she traced pictures for us to color, I remember it being chickens a lot of the time, and all the random crafts we did with things in the house, or when we'd go pick grapefruits around the yard, or the time we were baffled by the Jack and Jill trick. I also remember she'd make us frosting to go with graham crackers too. And so she put a picture, if you guys can see here, so Grandma would trace out the chickens for them to draw or color. So that's super cute. She said, I also remember her telling stories about her childhood, and the one I always remember is her getting in trouble for watching baseball outside and not paying attention in class, or how she ditched class and got caught by her friend's dad or something like that. So I love that she brought that up because in the journals, Grandma brings up a lot that she was a daydreamer. Like in school, everywhere, she was a daydreamer. So here she was just daydreaming, watching the game outside. She says in here, these are all collaborated messages between Summer and I. So these are from Tacey and Summer. So two of her great grandkids. Grandma also always put on the best Easter parties with fun treasure hunts and her homemade ice cream and delicious Texas sheet cake. I also remember a time Grandma and I went out into the garage and Grandma made me a dress out of bubble wrap. There might have been toilet paper involved too. Maybe it was just tissue paper, but I swore it was bubble wrap another time. So and she put a picture of that in there as well. So there is her dress made out of tissue paper in that picture. So super cute. I love it. I love that there was pictures with these ones because I love pictures. All right. This one is from Mary Hatch. When Darrell and I first married and lived on Lehigh Road, we met Peggy and Alec. They were the best. I remember people would bring a picture of a wedding dress, and Peggy would, from only a picture, make the dress for the bride-to-be. She was amazing in everything she did. So that was from the Hatches. Okay, and so then I have one more that was also from Tacey, but part of it didn't print. So let me pull it up on my email real fast. Insert hold music. Oh my gosh, if I can spell. All right. Okay. So in the email, there is a picture of a paper that Grandma had written on. So I'll read. Well, that's downloading. I'll read what Grandma wrote. So Tacy had written, I also always remember borrowing her flip-flops, and she always had the most comfy kind. So there's a paper here that Grandma wrote this memory on. Well, she wrote one memory that said, Tacy sat, we're going to a party at Grandma's. And she said, oh, can I help blow out the candles? But it was an Easter party, so there was no candles. Okay, so Grandma wrote this about Tacy. This is what Tacy said in 2006. Grandma, hurry, get my flip-flops. I have to go with my dad. She ran to my closet to get my flip-flops because she had to have shoes on to go to the auction with her dad. Then I heard her yell, Grandma, I can't find my flip-flops. So I went and found some with a flower on them, and she said, no, I have to have the other pair, so they will stay on my feet. Of course, those were gigantic on her feet too, but she could keep them on. So, and there's a picture that I'm going to show you, but it's downloading. So I have the bottom of it, so you can at least see the bottom of it because it's not downloading. But here's a picture of Tacy's feet in the ginormous flip-flops, which, I mean, granted, Grandma's feet were like size 4, but, you know, Tacy's little. So these were the flip-flops that she had to have because she could keep her feet in these ones to be able to go to work with her dad. So I thought that was cute. All right. Then she said, after reading through old letters and birthday cards, the advice Grandma seemed to give is enjoy your life because it goes by fast. Become who the Lord intended you to be. Let the Lord help you and stay close to him. Follow your dreams. Be a good example, since she's the oldest in her family. My birthday card from when I was 10 says, if someone is unkind to you, say, I'm sorry you're sick and don't feel good. I'll talk to you tomorrow when you feel better. Direct advice. Never go to bed mad at each other. Her and Grandpa said if something was bothering the other, talk about it now, not later. She said marriage is for helping each other to become what the Lord intended. Remember who you are, one of the Lord's children. Life is only what you make it. I love all that advice, and those are exactly things that Grandma, I think instilled upon each of her kids and grandkids. All right, the Obama story, which we did hear about this. I mean, we heard a lot of these at the funeral, but we definitely heard this one. There was this one time Grandma was showing Summer and I drawings she was working on, one of which was a portrait of Grandpa Ellick, to which Summer exclaimed, "Is that Obama?" Grandma started laughing away and told us it was supposed to be Grandpa Ellick, but she was having a hard time replicating that photo of him. It was a story that we three like to relive a lot of the time. We don't know where that drawing went, but it is vividly stuck in our heads of what picture it was that she was trying to recreate. And then this is about the Jack and Jill game. Grandma showed us a game one time called Jack and Jill. You put a piece of paper on one finger, on each hand. Then place those fingers on the edge of a counter and you say the little lines. 2 little blackbirds sitting on a hill, one named Jack and one named Jill. Fly away, Jack, fly away, Jill. Come back, Jack, come back, Jill. As you say fly away, Jack, you remove the one finger and replace it with a different one without the paper. And same thing when you say fly away, Jill. When you say come back, Jack, you replace the empty finger back with the finger with the paper, and the same when you say come back, Jill. Anyways, Grandma did the little trick to Summer and I, and we could not figure out for the life of us until she showed us. She would pause after saying fly away to let us try and figure it out. She was laughing the whole time. We couldn't figure it out, and we felt pretty silly after she showed us how it was done. We then proceeded to try and do it ourselves, and the 3 of us had a good laugh while we attempted the trick. I love it. Okay, so those were all the ones that they shared with me. There might have been others, but that is what they sent over to me. So I just wanted to share it with all of you guys because I just think it's so fun, like hearing the stories from other family members and getting to kind of learn how she interacted with other cousins or kids or grandkids or great grandkids, compared to like your interactions with her. And, some of us have the same memories, some of us have different memories. We all knew her at different stages of her life. And so it's always so fun to hear those stories and kind of relive them and relive some of your own memories. So that's why I wanted to share them with you guys today. So thank you for listening, and thank you to those that sent those stories and memories in to Justin to share at the funeral, and that I could share here today. So hopefully by next week I will have my ducks in a row, and I will do an actual journal entry, and we can get back on track with that. But until then, enjoy these stories and have a fantastic week.